play. I'm recording. There we go. Okay, so again, it's not recording your little circles, it's recording me on this side. So anyways, 90 to 95% of our time we spend literally just working, because that's what art is creating. So we need that time to create. But since it's our first day together, of course, I need to go over like the ins and outs, especially with things being distant and it's very different. First thing I want to ask of you is if I send you messages, whether it's email or Schoology, I typically send Schoology messages. Please respond. Okay, so unless I don't ask you a question, but if I ask you a question, please respond. So I will reach out to you that way. And every single thing you need for my class is found in Schoology. And how this works is, it's set up just like everybody else with can you all see my screen? You can see my screen, right? I want to make sure you can. Been having some tab dropping drama. Yeah, okay. So basically every day you're going to go into the current folder. And the first thing you need to do every day, whether you're on Google Meet or not, you got to do the attendance. Okay. You have to fill out the attendance. We have had some glitches with Google Meet where it does not take the attendance. And I cannot remember all these little circles. So please, it's so easy. All you have to do, so I have it set up weekly and then daily. So hopefully it's pretty simple and it literally walks you through the steps each day of the week. So attendance is always there. And then it'll go to like step 2, step 3, step 4. Most days we only have 2 steps. Today we have a few more. Now I am going to go over step 2 with y'all. So you do not need to watch this video because you are on class with me. If you were not on class with me, you would need to watch this so you can take a Schoology quiz. And I know it's silly. You're like, a Schoology quiz? It's quick. It's easy. It's just so I know you understand how my class works, the quick down and dirty expectations of the class this trimester. But because you're here, I am going to go over it through a different version so you don't have to watch it. In my resource folder, I have all sorts of stuff for y'all if you ever need it. Like taking photos of your artwork, we'll talk about that. Like our art course syllabus, guidelines for Google Meet, all those kind of crazy things, art expectations. So I'm going to go here. It's not published because you don't need to see it yet. And I'm going to go over like our guidelines and expectations. Basically for art and sketchbooks, this trimester, every single thing we do is done in our sketchbook. So with COVID, I really had to pivot with how I taught class. If you did have art in 6th grade, we made our own sketchbooks. We did stuff in our sketchbooks. We had separate projects. We had places to store things, supplies to share. That's not this year. Even if we ended up going back in person, we still cannot share anything. We still cannot pass things out. So this was the best way that I came up with. Hopefully you all will still have a good time, get some really cool projects, but it's all confined in one space. So everybody should have a white folder with paper in it. If you were hybrid before we went VLA, they were handed out 3rd hour. If you are VLA, somebody should have picked it up last week or it was put in the mail on Friday. If you do not have one, in the meantime, you can just use any plain white paper, but it needs to be plain, not lined. Okay, lined paper takes away from the art. It takes away from the eye. It's a very huge distraction with drawing. So it has to be plain paper. If you are in a situation where you do not have either, please send me a private message. Okay. So just a quick welcome to art. I am Miss Colston. If you don't know me, there's my dog Rock popping in. You will hear him or see him at times. He does, especially if I'm eating, he'll try to come steal what I have. So this is my family, my husband, Ken, and my daughter, Kaylin. That's a picture of us 2 summers ago, pre-COVID, in Europe. We took a huge family trip and spent about a month camper vanning around Europe for Kaylin's 16th birthday. It was super fun. That's like our favorite thing to do is travel and experience the world. I obviously love art. I love to cook and come up with really weird, crazy concoctions. But anyway, it's just like a quick thing about me. You guys will get to know me more. I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty flexible. I will reach out to you often if I don't hear from you or if you're not turning things in. We only have 6 weeks together. So it's going to go by really fast. And the way that things are set up is you will need to do things every day in order to stay on track. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I'm super excited you're here. I'm pumped. It's going to be a fun. That's Miss Danielson. She was our student teacher. She's gone now, so you don't need to know her. What we're going to cover. So our daily sketchbook exercises are going to be a little different than what you've done in the past if you had art in 6th grade, where we would give you like a prompt. A lot of our sketches are actually going to be more skills that we're going to practice and then put into action. So we're ready for our actual project. We will have weekly projects. So basically, every day of the week, we will have something new. And then Thursdays, I will introduce the project. So you'll have all Thursday, all Friday, and everything will get turned in on one document each week by Sunday night. So I will explain that to you. And then at the very end, you will turn in a digital version of your entire sketchbook. And I give you the template for that, and it's actually really easy because you do photograph your work the whole trimester. So that last 6-week sketchbook turn-in, it literally takes like 10 minutes because you should already have your photos and you just import them where they belong. But that's how we will finish class. So daily exercises that get us ready for our projects. Then our projects, it all gets turned in weekly on a document, and then our final sketchbook turn-in. It'll make sense as we go, but just so you have an understanding. Going kind of fast, if anyone has questions, you guys are being rock stars right now. If anyone has any questions, throw them in the chat or raise your hand. I don't want to ignore you. If it's something that you're like, ooh, I don't want to ask in front of everybody, then send me a Schoology message. Okay, I have no problem with that. Recommended supplies. So I did send out an email to all y'all and your families about what is recommended. Hopefully everybody has what they need. So colored pencils, that is this week's. You definitely need colored pencils this week. This is your sketchbook, or what it should look like, your folder. You should have a pencil that has an eraser or an eraser. You will need a black pen, but it's just any black pen, like a Bic black pen, any black pen. It's not anything fancy. You will need a straight edge or a ruler. And when I say straight edge, literally, like I have this clipboard. I could use this clipboard because it's straight. Because we're not going to be measuring for our first big project, but we do need straight lines. So if you do not have a ruler, you literally could, if you have like Sharpie container, you could literally use the side of that. So it's anything that's a straight edge. Sharpies, colored and black. Usually regular markers work with what we're doing, but Sharpies are more vibrant. So they are recommended. And like a scissors, glue stick, that kind of simple stuff. Hopefully everybody has what they need. That's recommended this trimester. Daily breakdown, I'm gonna skip that because I already told you. I don't need to repeat myself. Our schedule as of now, 9:05 to 10:05. Again, I like to start right at 9:05 because I want to honor your time. And we go over the daily expectations and answer questions. And then you have work time. You do need to dedicate about 45 minutes a day to your work time. If you're not, you're going to fall behind or your work is not going to be where it should be. Okay? Contact if you need to get a hold of me. I do keep my Google Meet on like literally the whole time. Like I'm here the whole time. You can stay and work on Google Meet if you want after we're done with introductions, or you can go work on your own and then pop back on if you have questions. My office hours are 1 to 1:30, but I need you to like send me a message if you need to have a Google Meet because I don't sit on Google during that time. I'm obviously reachable, but if you need to have a meet, like a private meet, send me a message and I have no problem jumping on a meet with you. I actually jumped on a meet at the grocery store last trimester because somebody emailed me at like 6:30 at night and they're like, I need help. And I was at the grocery store, so I quickly did that. Your goals for art class. My hope is that you're going to enjoy yourself and have fun. You're going to grow your art skills, get out of your comfort zone, try something new. Craftsmanship is a huge one. And if you had myself or Ms. Jones in 6th grade, like that is like major. We're looking for the neatness, the craftsmanship. Okay. And then making connections to like the world and the world of others, learning about new people, about new artists, how art is everywhere. It's a huge part of our lives, whether we enjoy creating it or not. It's a huge part of who we are in our lives. So how to do art class recap. Log into Schoology and complete your attendance. Okay, no matter what, every day, got to do Schoology attendance. Come to the Google Meet. Okay, again, I don't take a ton of your time. I go over everything you need. And then follow the to-do list in Schoology. I have videos on how to do things. I have step-by-step instructions. It's literally all in there for you every single day. And then you need to be creating for at least 45 minutes. Attendance, attendance, attendance by 3 p.m. Sketchbooks, so y'all should have them. I would put your name on the inside. I know you're like, well, I'm at home. But if we end up going back in person, that way, you have it and you'll bring it back and forth. We are literally going to be creating, I'm going to go through here and go to some examples. So we are going to be doing some Sharpie techniques, colored pencil techniques. It's going to be great, like lots of crazy fun stuff that we're going to be making. These are examples from like Try 1, 1.1, 1.2. I am looking for that on the grading scale. The numbers are a little skewed, but I like to show you like the 4, 3, 2, 1. It might be like 10, 8, 6, 4. But to earn that highest level, you have to earn it. I have some people that are like, well, I turned in my project. Why didn't I get full points? You have to earn it. So the thing that's really important is to make sure that you're reading the expectations of the project or of the practice or the skills. I do want you to remember that or know that I am not a cookie cutter kind of art teacher. So I'm not expecting 30 kids to turn in 30 of the same thing. Not my style. If you've had me before, you know that that's not my style. I also am very open to outside of the box thinkers. So if you have an idea that is sparked from what we're doing, send me a message and let's talk about it, because 9 times out of 10, we can make it work for the assignment. But you do need to make sure that you have the components of each assignment and you have that craftsmanship. Okay, so the expectations are met with that craftsmanship. And again, if you had me in 6th grade, I used like people as this, and then 8th grade I use this because it's a little bit more in depth. But like the more in depth you go, the higher the grade, because that's what we're looking for, that exceeds expectations. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. You can kind of see the differences, the 1, 2, 3, 4. Sketches can always be reworked. So if you create something and you turn it in and it's not correct or it's not enough, I will send you a message in Schoology, or I will always comment in the gradebook. So if you go and check your grade in the gradebook and you're like, wait a minute, why did I get this grade? You're going to see a comment. You're going to see, did not do this or did not do that. This is one of your sketches for this week. Not this exact, it's patterns, but I'll explain it later. But this is an example from someone from last trimester. Other examples, some really cool drawings and sketches from this year. It's just kind of fun to see what people have created. Our sketchbook cover design project, we will start next week, but I'd just like to show you some examples as well. So please do not put anything on the cover of your sketchbook yet, because you will turn that into a project next week. Yeah, let's get out of here and go back to Schoology and talk about today, because we are going to get started today on our first sketch. 2 sketches, actually. So when I am done talking and telling you everything and answering any questions y'all have, the very first thing you need to do, because I went over that with you, is you're going to take a Schoology quiz. Now, I think I have it so you can take it at least 3 times. Right here, so it's like how to art, and it'll go over, hopefully everything I said you can answer there. So you do need to do that. That is due today, so please make sure you take it. There's like 10 questions, you guys. It's super simple. Then step 4. So this is where you're going to find today's activity, and it literally tells you colored pencil technique and colored pencil in action. So you're going to hear me say in action a lot, and what I mean is you're going to learn how to do the colored pencil skills, and then you're going to take that, and then you're going to put it in action. You're going to show me you know how to do it. So right now, I'm going to go here and show you. Oh, there's our agreements. You guys are all rock stars. You already know how to do all that in our sketchbook. Colored pencil techniques. On your very first, so you're going to open up your sketchbook. On your very first page, you are going to try to mimic, copy, exactly what you see here to the right. Now, don't freak out. A lot of times, first of all, I never like copy people's art, but when it comes to techniques, you want to be able to do the technique correctly. So that is why we are trying to mimic or get this as close as we can to what this artist created on our own. Then we are going to put it into action, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. You want to try and use the same colors you see here. Okay, so the color, and you should have these all, if you have a 12-pack of colored pencils, you should have all these colors. Here's another one you could mimic as well. So you can choose this one or this one, and I'll show you some examples of student work in a second. It's all about shading with colored pencils. It's all about pressure. It's all about outlining areas, mixing colors together. Basically it's moving ourselves beyond a coloring sheet, if that makes sense to you guys. So again, on the very first page of your sketchbook, you want to mimic, which is copy, or as best as you can, this page or this page. Here are student examples from last trimester. So you can see here that these students chose the circles and the squares at the bottom. This person chose, I kind of call them flames. They kind of look like flames to me. So you can choose. Notice how they utilize their entire page of their sketchbook. Notice the craftsmanship, like the neatness of their work. Again, this is skill. So it's learning to be better at this skill. And we need this skill for our final project this week. So that is why we are starting with this skill. So here again are student examples. So that's your first page today. We have a second page, which is then to put it into action. I also have videos in here, like on how to use colored pencils, how to shade with colored pencils. You might already know, you might find a better video, you might not need a video. Some people can literally look at this and just do it on their own. Some people need a little more guidance. So this video is awesome to teach you how to do layering. Okay, so that's in there for you. Again, you can also go, if you have it, you can Google colored pencil skill videos and find other ones as well. You're now on the second page in your sketchbook. So we have first page is the skill. The second page is when we're going to put this into action, and you're going to draw some sort of crazy, any dessert you want, and you're going to use your colored pencil skills to color that in. Okay, you want to use your space, use your full page. I'll show you some examples here in a second. These are just like drawings I found that I thought were really cool of desserts. I tried to give you lots of different dessert ideas. You do not have to use any of the ideas I have in this slideshow. You could draw any of your own. Here are some examples. This is like, holy cow. You can see the difference in the waffle cones too, but they're both really well done. Excuse me, here are some other student work examples with the colored pencil. Notice that a lot of them have black Sharpie or black pen. You can use that if you want to add embellishments or just use a black colored pencil. But notice how it's outlined and notice how it pops. And that's what I'm looking for with your final dessert example. This slideshow also has like step-by-step instructions on desserts. There's videos I have in here for you. Do you have to use these? Absolutely not. But they're all there for you as a resource. And so you are more than happy to use any of those. You can look them up. But that is our task for today. Hopefully you guys aren't like, oh my gosh, this is so much. It seems overwhelming. You'll see as we get going and get in the flow of class how it all works. So to recap, your job today is to create your page of colored pencil technique. You can choose which version you want. Again, these are student examples from last try. And then on your second page, you're going to put it into action. So when you hear me say that, it means now you're going to take that skill and you're going to put it into action. And again, you can choose any dessert you want. I just narrowed it down to that category to give you something to focus on. So any dessert you want. It could be a dessert in your culture. It could be your favorite dessert. It could be anything. And you're going to focus on putting your skills into action, just like these students did last trimester. So that is your job today, those 2 tasks. You do want to try to get them done or as close to done because you will have a new sketch tomorrow, only one, and then you'll have on Wednesday, I introduce, I think, your final project. This week is a little bit, yeah. So, and then it's due Sunday evening. Does anyone have questions or comments? Is the back of the cover? No, thank you, Trent. Thank you for asking. No, the first piece of paper that's inside. Some kids do like to take it out because you've got the 3-ring binders. Please don't rip it out because you'll have to put it back in. But the 3-ring or the 3 prongs, if you flip it over in the back, you should be able to pull them apart. And if you want to draw separately, like not in your book, because, well, I'm left-handed, so it would drive me nuts because of the spine, you can take the paper out and put it back in. Just be careful if you are working on a surface at home, like with Sharpies, that nothing bleeds through. That's the one thing you got to be careful of. You should have gotten in your sketchbook a heavy sheet of paper in the pocket. That is what I like to call bleed paper. And that is what you can use to put behind anything. So it should, if you are using Sharpie, it'll soak through and it should catch it on that paper. But just be really careful because I don't want anybody to ruin anything at home. So if you are good and you guys are ready to start, and again, this is found in your Monday folder. So, and there's a brain break here. I like to add that kind of stuff in there if you want that in your background. But again, go and do your quiz first because it's due today. It'll take you 5 minutes, if that. So attendance and then your how to art quiz. And then here is where the information is for your colored pencil technique. And remember, this gets turned in all together at the end of the week. So when you finish, don't search forever for a place to turn it in. It gets turned in together, and I'll explain that this week. Is everybody good? Does anybody else have any questions? If you don't, you can stay on and work if you want. I usually turn my camera and mic off, but I'm here. If you want to leave and work, and if you have questions, you can always pop back on. Just jump on and say, Ms. Colston, question. Send me a message if you need anything, but I will be here if you need anything. It's good to see everybody. Okay, let me look. When it says, can you turn it back? Sorry, honey, let me go back to my people leaving too quickly. Can you turn back to the dessert drawing? Yes, I can turn it back to the dessert drawing page. Give me 1 second. So it's going to be on this slideshow. And 1 second, Shelby. Let's go to, and is it this page you want, or which page do you want? That's it. Okay. You're welcome, dear. I'm going to stop my video recording.